14 team captains, 90 minutes behind closed doors, a locker room filled with some of the highest-paid golfers on the planet. And when the doors finally opened at Trump National Bedminster on Tuesday, August 4th, 2026, this is what the world was told. No updates, just positive information, said Thomas Detry of the Four Aces Golf Club. That was it. Bryson DeChambeau walked past reporters without a word. So did Scott O'Neill, the chief executive officer of LIV Golf. But inside that building, Bryson DeChambeau spoke for more than 30 minutes straight, and what he said may decide whether this league exists in 2027. Here is what happened, hour by hour, because the timeline itself tells the story. At roughly 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Bryson DeChambeau walked off the 9th green after a practice round with Bubba Watson. A reporter asked him for an interview. He declined politely and gave a 2-word explanation for why he could not stop. Big meeting. That was the only public comment he made all day. The first session began in the clubhouse at Trump National Bedminster and lasted approximately 40 minutes. In the room were the team captains and LIV Golf Chief Executive Officer Scott O'Neill, along with other league executives. One point worth flagging honestly, Front Office Sports reported that LIV Golf has 13 four-man teams, while the account published by Golf. Calm referenced 14 team captains being present. Both numbers have appeared in the coverage, and neither outlet has corrected the other. When that first meeting ended, the captains walked out of the clubhouse alongside Scott O'Neill and made a short walk to a smaller brick and glass building that houses the locker room. Waiting inside were the rest of the league's players and the team general managers. This second session ran somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes. Then came the moment that changed the shape of the day. Scott O'Neill stepped out of the building partway through, appeared at the second-floor exit, and walked down a flight of stairs directly into a cluster of reporters who had gathered to question him. A LIV Golf media relations staff member stayed close beside him. He declined to answer anything. Any information coming out of that room would have to come from the players themselves. Once the chief executive officer and the team general managers had left, the third and final session began, and it was players only. Bryson DeChambeau ran it. He led that portion for more than 30 minutes. Read that again because it is the single most important detail of the entire day. A player, not an executive, chaired the conversation about whether this league survives. Outside, the wait stretched on. Caddies passed the time rolling putts on the practice green. Team general managers stood under trees looking for shade. A line of black vehicles sat in the parking lot, engines ready, waiting to take players back to their hotel. It was not until around 3:45 in the afternoon that familiar faces finally began appearing at the top of the staircase. And then came the silence. Joaquin Niemann said he needed to practice. Lee Westwood said the same. Lucas Herbert declined, though he did make a light-hearted joke about the idea of starting his own tour. Anthony Kim was tight-lipped. So were Graham McDowell, Thomas Peters, and Bubba Watson. Bryson DeChambeau, the man who had just spent half an hour addressing the entire membership, said nothing to the media at all. Paul Casey stopped and spoke with reporters, but not about the meeting. He shared stories from the 1999 Walker Cup, where he and Luke Donald helped Great Britain and Ireland win. Out of an entire professional golf league, 4 players said anything of substance. Thomas Detry, a member of the Four Aces Golf Club team captained by Dustin Johnson, gave the line that has now traveled around the golf world, no updates. Thomas Detry told Front Office Sports after the meetings. Just positive information. Byung-Hoon An, captain of Korean Golf Club, described the players-only portion this way: went well. It was fun and no one's throwing fists or anything, which was good. Bryson was talking and it was pretty good. The vibe was good. Abraham Answer, who plays for Torque Golf Club, said the players spent the time going through the business plan and all that for next year. Other than that, I can't really say anything. When he was asked whether LIV Golf leadership had given players enough information, he answered, "I think they're giving us as much as they can." On the question of whether his contract would be honored, Abraham Answer said, "I can only speak for myself, but everything has been okay with me. I have nothing really bad to say." The closest thing to an actual update came from Richard Bland, a member of Cleeks Golf Club and at 53 years old, one of the league's elder statesmen. His comments are the backbone of everything we know. Bryson just ran through what he knows. Richard Bland told reporters at Trump National Bedminster, "We're trying to do it as a group, but obviously we're individuals as well."
So I think the next kind of 2-3 weeks is going to be where it's at. He continued, "We're in this together. We're fully backing Scott." I think probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks, we'll have a bigger picture. And then the sentence that carries the most weight of anything said on Tuesday, we're just in that kind of stage at the minute that we're positive with what's going on.
But we just need everything to be fully signed off so you can go forward. On the message delivered by Scott O'Neill, Richard Bland said it was positive. "There's still a lot to go, but Scott told us what he knows, and we're still committed to next year, and hopefully some good comes with it." He added, "Everybody's just asking the right questions for what it is for the group, and also for them as individuals." Now consider what those words actually describe. Players are being told to trust a process, and nobody will state that process out loud. In business negotiations, that pattern generally means one of two things. Either a transaction is genuinely in motion and non-disclosure agreements are preventing anyone from discussing it, or there is not enough concrete detail available to discuss. Richard Bland's specific phrasing that everything needs to be fully signed off points toward documents that exist but have not yet been executed. That is reading the available evidence, not a confirmed fact. Which brings us to the $40 million question sitting in the middle of the calendar. The LIV Golf Michigan Team Championship carries a $40 million purse. It is scheduled for August 27 through August 30 at the Cardinal in Plymouth, Michigan. As of Tuesday, it remained officially on the schedule. Almost nobody in golf believes it will be played. Reporting indicates that basic infrastructure for the tournament, including grandstands, has not been built, and that preparation work has not started. Flushing It reported in late July that multiple contractors said their travel and accommodation had been canceled for Michigan and that money is owed, with some saying they had not been paid in months. Multiple outlets, including the Wall Street Journal, have reported that the league is on the verge of canceling the event. Sources have told Front Office Sports the event is expected to be canceled. Separately, sources told The Athletic that no decision or announcement on the event was expected this week. Against all of that, here is what the players have been instructed to do. Cameron Smith, captain of Ripper Golf Club, said at his pre-tournament press conference on Tuesday morning, "We've been told to prepare as though it's going ahead. So we're expecting it to happen. I'm really unsure, but we had a great year there last year in Detroit, and we're hoping to get back there." Cameron Smith also said it would be a shame if LIV Golf is not able to continue in 2027. Richard Bland, asked the same question, said, "I don't know." So, we've got to wait and see on that. Byung-Hun Ahn gave the clearest description of where the membership actually stands. We'll see what happens. "I'm not making the decisions. We know as much as everyone knows. There's no or yes. I'm waiting on it. There is one workaround being discussed. It remains possible that LIV Golf could fold elements of the team championship into the LIV Golf Indianapolis event scheduled for August 20 through August 23. If that happens, Indianapolis becomes the season finale and the $40 million Michigan event simply disappears from the calendar. To understand how a league backed by one of the largest sovereign wealth funds on earth arrived at this point, here is the sequence. In late April 2026, Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund announced it would cease funding LIV Golf after the conclusion of the 2026 season. Reported total investment to that point exceeds $5 billion. The venture has struggled to gain traction and to retain golfers. Scott O'Neill responded with a plan referred to as LIV 2.0, a reimagined version of the league pitched to private investors. The financial requirement is specific. LIV Golf has been looking to raise up to $250 million for next season and is reportedly already operating on loans for the remainder of the 2026 campaign. The contingency planning has been significant. The organization has already informed employees of potential mass layoffs and has laid the groundwork for a potential United States bankruptcy filing. The legal pressure has increased. Multiple lawsuits have been filed against LIV Golf in recent weeks, including one that accuses the league of stealing the idea for its own format. The partnerships have started to break. The Asian Tour, which served as a feeder league for LIV Golf and helped give LIV Golf players an opportunity to earn official World Golf ranking points, opted to leave its deal with LIV Golf and partner again with the Professional Golfers Association Tour and the DP World Tour. That decision reportedly caught Scott O'Neill and LIV Golf by surprise. The media arrangement has also broken down. Moby, the host of the LIV Golf streaming feature, is now in dispute with the organization after their deal ended suddenly during the season. And the schedule itself has become unstable. LIV Golf New Orleans was postponed without a return date, despite an earlier commitment that the league would be funded through the end of the season. There is, however, one piece of genuinely positive reporting. According to the New York Post, LIV Golf has commitments from a group of anchor investors that would form a financing syndicate with enough capital to support a reimagined version of the league. LIV Golf has not commented on that report, which is entirely normal behavior for an organization in the middle of active negotiations. Then there is the pitch itself, which deserves attention. Speaking to Sportico, Scott O'Neill cited net operating loss carry-forwards as one of the benefits of investing in LIV Golf, describing net operating losses in the billions. Here is the plain explanation. Tax law allows a business to apply losses from previous years against profits in future years. If an organization lost several $1 billion over 5 years and then earned $100 million in profit, it could apply those accumulated losses and reduce or eliminate the tax owed on that profit. The mechanism is real and legitimate. The observation worth making is structural when accumulated tax losses appear among the headline selling points of an investment pitch. The operating performance of the business is not the primary attraction. One golf community summarized it as hitting a shot so far offline that you end up in a completely different fairway and call it a good lie, credit where credit is due for that description. Which returns us to Bryson DeChambeau and the question most coverage will not ask. Bryson DeChambeau is the most valuable asset LIV Golf has in terms of attention, described as the league's runaway most valuable player, at least in terms of clicks and impressions. On Tuesday, he functioned as the de facto player leader, chairing the room, briefing his peers, and running through what he knows. There is a second layer to this. Bryson DeChambeau has reportedly planned to focus on YouTube if LIV Golf ends. Of every player in that locker room at Trump National Bedminster, he may be the one whose earning power is least dependent on whether the league survives. There is a certain irony in the fact that this analysis is being delivered on the exact platform he would move to. So the open question is worth stating rather than answering: is Bryson DeChambeau leading because he is invested in the survival of LIV Golf, or because he is the member of that room with the least to lose by speaking plainly? 3 concrete markers will answer everything within weeks. The first is Michigan. Either a cancellation announcement arrives for the event at the Cardinal, or the silence continues through the week, and sources have told The Athletic that no decision is expected in the coming days. The second is the 2 to 3 week window that Richard Bland flagged twice. That is the time frame in which everything must be, in his words, fully signed off. The third is Scott O'Neill himself. He was scheduled to address the media at 10 o'clock on Wednesday morning at Trump National Bedminster, delivering what has been described as a league update. The measure of that appearance is simple, whether it contains numbers, names, and signed commitments, or whether it contains adjectives. 3 tournaments remain in the 2026 season, beginning with this week's event at Trump National Bedminster in New Jersey. The most predictable element of LIV Golf has always been its unpredictability. Tuesday did not change that. It only added 90 minutes.